Part 0036. What was all this about? Nanami, what's she talking about? I'm aware that limiters are sometimes placed on angels of my model to curtail their strength, but I don't believe any were put on me. Would lifting these limiters put Nanami in any danger? Oh no, it's totally safe. I'm just taking off her shackles. Then I suppose I'm okay with letting you do that. Why was Nanami speaking down to her exactly? If you wish to grow even stronger, you should go to where all the angels live. It feels almost like 20-pound weights wrapped around my arms have been taken off. Doesn't sound like that's a significant increase. If you want to strengthen your angel powers, it might be a good idea to head to Angel Country. I'll tell you how to get there, Miss Sakura said before suddenly looking down at her hands. The Angel Country. I might not ever be able to go back there. My wings have been defiled into something unsightly and horrible. How are they unsightly? Well, you know, they've gone black like a fallen angel's, haven't they? I don't see them like that. Right, so this happened a while ago, but the mother of a friend of mine was a farmer. Though, strictly speaking, this story had happened in my original world. She would always apologize for her dirty hands before serving us sweets or homegrown tomatoes sprinkled with sugar. She'd water her crops, plant them in the dirt, and spread pesticides, and obviously she'd wear gloves, but she couldn't prevent her hands from getting rough and dry, and they looked kind of dirty from all the muscle she'd built up there. I could remember her hands and the look on her face even now. But here's how I saw it. Her hands got like that because she worked so hard to raise her kid, right? And the vegetables her farm grew really were delicious, too. If anything, I thought it was cool. Though, my friend's mother seemed seriously concerned about it herself. That's why I told her that her hands were lovely. There might have been guys out there who thought her hands were dirty, but I wanted to shout back at them that her hands were cool and beautiful, and that I respected her for them. Your wings may be black, Miss Sakura. But what of it? I could only imagine the agony she must have gone through. She had holed herself up for so long that anyone else in her position would have been driven insane, enduring immense torment from keeping the book of Raziel sealed as she searched for a way to avert disaster. All that suffering and agony, all to ultimately get killed? Have you heard anything more ridiculous? You've been putting up a fight this whole time, unbeknownst to me or anyone else, right? An agonizing battle that robbed you of the ability to do what you love and went on for so long that it would have driven anyone else mad. You and the Book of Raziel ended up in your positions because you both fought for this world and its people without caring what happened to yourselves. That's why your wings ended up the way they are. That wasn't something any normal angel or I could do. Which was all the more reason why. If some angel out there makes fun of your wings, I'll tell them to watch their damn mouth. Miss Sakura's wings only got that way because she was trying to protect all of us and protect our world, after all. Heck, they weren't ugly at all, if anything. I think your wings are the prettiest in the world. So my wings are pretty, are they? Tears spilled from her eyes. I turned away and looked at the sakura petals dancing in the air as they fell. I didn't really want anyone to see me like this, you know. After a brief silence, Miss Sakura spoke. What are you fighting for? If I had to sum it up, I'd say my answer is that I love this world, so I want to guide it to its happy ending. That's why I fight. I see, she replied before looking me in the eye. You and I might actually be pretty similar after all. Miss Sakura produced a letter of some kind. Even if we don't form a contract, I still wish to help you however I can. If you ever need my knowledge, you can consult me anytime, okay? Got it. Oh, also, is there something else? After she passed the letter to me, she drew in close and whispered in my ear. I remember what you said when you faced off against me, you know. That you'd bring me happiness. At this, she went around in front of me and placed her thin index finger up against my forehead. You even proposed while saving me, so you better be sure to make me happy, okay? Then I witnessed the most beautiful smile, capable of stealing the heart of any who laid eyes on it, I had ever seen Miss Sakura make. Part 0037. Chapter 8: The Future. Magical Explorer. Reborn as a side character in a fantasy dating sim. Ru Sakura's perspective. It was often said that humans would show you who they truly were when cornered, and I believed the same went for angels. Normally, I consider myself calm and collected, but that really isn't true. The thought came to me when I gazed at the sakura tree that Takioto showed me. It was so unbelievably pretty. Maintaining the seal on the Book of Raziel placed quite a few restrictions on my abilities, which shrunk the world around me. Yet that didn't diminish the tree's beauty. Perhaps this was because it was the first time in a long while that I had been able to see a real cherry tree so close, since I almost never left the library. However, it wasn't only this sakura tree that stunned me. The scenery, the library, the academy, the cafes, the supermarkets, the town, the whole world itself now seemed so much brighter. Thanks to Takioto, I had grown to love Sakura, the Sakura in my own name. It was you who gave me the name Ru Sakura, wasn't it, Marino? Marino smiled tenderly. That's right. I really gave it a lot of thought at the time. What made you land on that name? I wanted to work the character for Sakura in there somewhere, since you would always say the only thing left for you was to wither away. She was right. I had said that to Marino. Back then, it all seemed totally hopeless, and my only wish was to leave the slightest bit of possibility behind and disappear. I couldn't stand the idea of you blooming only to wither away, though. But because of my position, I wasn't able to do anything about your dilemma either, Marino said apologetically. You did everything you possibly could in your position. You allowed me to use your facilities here. Yes, but you also did a whole lot of good for our library too, didn't you? Well, that's not important. But going back to the name Sakura, I gave it to you because that's what I wanted you to become. Like a cherry tree? This time, your petals may scatter and wither away. But the sakura always blooms the next year, as they do every year. I wanted you to blossom once again too. So that explains my name. That's right. And you really did bloom again, too, Marino said with a smile. I couldn't help but smile with her. She was exactly right. Who would have thought things would end up like this? Did you never foresee this kind of future? I couldn't. Though, there were certain people who showed some promise. What do you mean? While some people have hazy futures, there are others whose fates are totally unseeable. Their destinies were just as impenetrable for the Book of Raziel, too. Hazy? Unseeable? The ones with hazy futures are Ludi, Katu, Monica, and Yuka. The possible futures they hold are too many to count. For those with too many futures, what lay ahead was always hazy. I was especially in the dark about how Katu's fate was going to play out from here. I'm worried about Katu. Marina was looking at me with the question why, written on her face. There was a chance that she didn't know. Katu herself didn't know, either. Not that it was very strange she didn't. But he knew. I figured that if she was unaware, then there was no reason for me to tell her, either. That Katu had demon blood in her veins. Then what about the people whose futures you can't see? There are 3. The first is Nanami. I wonder if you actually know more about her than me. Nanami was a lower-ranked angel. Angel though she was, however, there was something about her that set her apart from regular angels like me. As an upper-ranked angel, I was technically her superior, but I wondered if that was actually the case. I don't know anything about Nanami's destiny either, but it does seem to me like she's involved with people on my side of things. There's the possibility this topic could extend far past the boundaries of this world alone. You might be right. And what about the other 2? The second is Iori. How should I put it? He shines too brightly for me to see anything. He would likely be able to accomplish a great many different things. The last one is Kasuk. Let's see. He's similar to Iori, but if I had to describe it, I'd say his fate is far more muddled. I can't see anything through the pitch black. It may be a bit odd for me to say this, but I think I understand what you mean. Marino smiled with a wince. Tell me, Sakura. In the end, did you tell everyone that the world would face destruction whether the Book of Raziel was defeated or not? I haven't revealed anything to them. Even if I could, things will turn out fine. Since Takioto already knew. Let me tell you something, Marino. Now that I've lost my powers, I can't predict the future. But there's something I can assure you of. Is there? Yes. I say this with absolute confidence. I predicted the world would be destroyed, right? But now, I'm sure it won't be. Oh, and why is that? Because this world has Takioto. Oh my, because of Ko? Teehee. Hehehe. Marino Hanamura, I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. My, just what sort of declaration will this be, I wonder? Kusuk Takioto will bring light and avert disaster. After all, he was the person who'd bested me, who'd had made me cry my eyes out, who'd showed me what hope looked like. And he's going to become the strongest in the world. Part 0039. _____ afterward. Magical Explorer. Reborn as a side character in a fantasy dating sim. Hello, Iris here. I'm still alive. Acknowledgements. Konatuki, thank you for your superb illustrations. Ms. Sakura's design, in particular, is godly. She's ascended above being an angel into the ranks of divinity. Just seeing her makes my creative juices start to churn. To my editor, Miyakawa, I truly apologize for all the trouble I've caused you. It's thanks to your efforts that Magical Explorer is still running. Thank you so much. Thank you to Twinbox for your extremely cute rendering of Katarina. She looks amazing herself, but I personally enjoy the swimsuit design you went with, too. Seriously, it's so cute. Other stuff. When I lived in Tokyo, I once learned firsthand to be careful of spicy foods. It was a Friday. Thinking the weekend's almost here, I gotta work my ass off today. I stopped by a convenience store, purchasing an energy drink and a bakery item for my lunch later. At noon, right as I was about to chow down on my bread, coworker A came over to talk to me. They mentioned something like, our Epicurean boss recommended this restaurant. Wanna go? Of course, I immediately jumped at the idea. I couldn't turn down an invite from Mr. A. Wait, you don't know coworker A? Coworker A is the guy I immediately hit it off with, who shares my fondness for Muji from K-On! And her pickled daikon eyebrows. He even gifted me the Muji pickled daikon collab they put out. I was surprised they partnered with a proper pickle company for the thing. I've never spoken about him with you all, so it's only natural you wouldn't know of him. Here I was being presented with a tasty restaurant that my close friend coworker A had heard about from one of our bosses, a man who had a spotless record when it came to gourmet eateries, and negative reliability when it came to work. I mean, I couldn't help getting my hopes up at this point. This restaurant was a serious curry place. The interior had the prototypical Asian decor that made it feel like we had somehow ended up in India, and while I couldn't tell if he was Nepalese or Indian, the owner was a foreigner who looked like he was from the region. There was also only one other customer besides us. I'm pretty sure they were a reincarnated god of some kind. Anyway, we began to look at the menu. Listed on it was a genuine style of curry with lots and lots of spices. There was a warning that asserted first-time customers should be careful, but I didn't pay any attention to it at all. Even the owner looked at me with a face that was screaming, "Do you seriously think you can eat that?" Well now, I wasn't going to let anyone belittle me like that, was I? I'll tell you right now, the man you're looking at has given himself diarrhea from eating weird stuff plenty of times at this point, and has had more than enough stomachaches to build up his tolerance. I raised my voice and really let him have it. Inside my head, the moment I had anxiously awaited came, and the curry was brought out. Just from the smell, I knew it was different from normal curry. It was definitely spicy, but intensely spicy. The taste and smell were so strong. Honestly, it was painful just to choke it down. That's how bad it was. This place wasn't all talk after all. I was dying here. Then, looking at A, who ordered a regular curry, I'd describe his visage as that of someone who had suddenly encountered a boss monster while strolling through a grassy field. Iris, I might not be able to handle any more, he told me. It appeared even the normal curry was too spicy. What, is that all you've got? That's not like you, Mr. A. Truth is, though, I'm in rough shape, too. Both of us had been brainwashed to never let a single scrap of food get left behind on our plates, but in the end, we tearfully left our meals unfinished. Even when I had visited Paris and was faced with food that didn't really suit my tastes, I still finished all my meals. Though, when my host family in Canada brought out a huge salad filled with raw celery, I did leave some of that left over. An impossible amount of food to eat. The two of us left the restaurant disheartened. The entire time I suspected that the other person who had been in there since our arrival, and who finished his meal like normal must have been a reincarnated god, and that our boss who recommended the place was a demon wearing human skin. We both consoled each other. We really tried, and sure, we may have lost, but we battled right up to the end. However, the real battle was yet to come. I was assailed with violent diarrhea. The most fortunate part was that this was Friday. No matter how much stomach pain I felt, tomorrow was the weekend. I sent a polite but vitriolic email to this boss of ours, worked while spending probably more time in the toilet than at my desk, and returned home that night. Then came Monday. It happened when I opened up my desk drawer. The painful memories came flooding back to me. There was some bread in my desk. I remembered, since I had gone out for lunch with War Buddy Ye, I still had the bread I had bought for lunch left over. Oh, incidentally, War Buddy Ye and I had banned the word curry from our conversation for a little while. Hold on, though, when I took a closer look, the bread was actually past its best-by date. It was fine, though. I was a slightly unique man from the sticks. A man who could eat expired food as long as it hadn't gone rotten or moldy. When you reached my level, you became easily able to judge whether something was rotten. That's right, you just needed to take a bite and see. I remember taking a bite of the bread and thinking to myself, yeah, this is safe. All right then, I thought as I ate. I'd energize myself again with this lunch, get home without having to do any overtime, and play games all night. However, when I got home, I couldn't focus on playing any games. I was assailed with violent diarrhea.